Hello, Sarah. This video is just a little, I don't know, just showing you what Emacs can do, what it does. So Emacs by itself is just a text editor. If I quickly edit this file and put some, how do they do comments in this language? I forget. Anyway, doesn't really matter. The point is that by itself, Emacs is just a text editor. It doesn't really do anything. Or it doesn't do anything spectacular anyway. It's got some syntax highlighting, it uses some funny key combos, and that's about it. However, one of the add-ons you can have for Emacs is called Emacspeak. And it takes Emacs and it adds speech to it. So I'll show an example. I'm going to open a little project that I worked on some time ago, working on with Morse code. So if I open it up, it will open up a new window with Emacs, and you should be able to hear it speaking. I don't know how the audio is.
Emacspeak loading /home/date/emacspeak-49.0/list/emacspeak-setup.l left source right off done.
So to get rid of the little bottom window here, because the bottom window is kind of annoying, right here. I don't know if you can see my mouse, but on the bottom here, there's a little window that kind of gets in the way. So if I do Control X1, so that was just kind of a what would you call that? Like a status line kind of read. So it tells me what line I'm on. It tells me how far through the file I am. That kind of thing. And when I go to a new line, it will actually read the entire thing to me. So let's. If the line is blank, it just makes like a boop kind of noise. And otherwise, it'll read the whole thing out to me like this.
This function returns a pointer to the Morse code written above, period. The gender of this function feels amazing because I quote, we never used C before, but I see why. Off read, period. It's quote used for performance, exclamation. I do not copy any data, period. The pointer returns points to the above array, exclamation. Cons char asterisk char underscore to underscore Morse left command char letter right command left race.
And obviously there's ways to set the speech rate lower. So Alt X lets you execute a command. So DTK set rate. And then I can do like 150.
0.1. Enter the rate, 150. Set speech rate to 100. You can run the command back, quote, set speech rate to 150 locally.
So now it'll speak quite a bit slower, and that can be helpful, especially if you're using a new programming language where you're not familiar with the syntax. So for example, this is using a malloc and size of call in the line below to generate memory for an array.
Event for const char asterisk result underscore ptr equals alloc left parent size of left parent char right parent asterisk max underscore morse underscore length right parent semicolon.
So there you go. That's basically what Emacspeak does. It's not perfect. Sometimes I can get gurgled speech and I have to restart it and all that jazz. But it's pretty cool. You can set it to like auto-compile your code when you're done, or when you save a file. You can set it to, you can set it actually so that you can access your terminal within Emacs itself, and then it'll actually read your terminal output to you. And you can also get it to, speak as you type. So by default, if I go to this next line and then set a new line, you'll also notice that there's different sounds kind of associated with everything. So a backspace on a letter is different from typing a letter. So if I type Boolean, bool, hello,
hello equals hello. Event for bool hello equals true semicolon.
So for example, that when I put a semicolon, it will actually read the entire line to me. I'm going to just set the speech rate faster because it's too slow to wait.
Enter new rate, reading 0, set speech rate to 300 locally. You can run the command set rate, set speech rate to 300 locally.
Okay, so, and then if I backspace on something, I'll hear kind of a hiss almost, like a sharp hiss when I backspace on a character. So instead of saying...
Indent for below equals true semicolon.
Oh, it's reading the whole line. But instead of saying, you know, the letter I type,
B.
It'll be the letter I type and a little bit of a hiss.
B.
Oh, it's a beep now. I don't know. Sometimes they change the... You can actually change the sounds too. You can get sound packs for this that have different sounds if you like them differently.
E, U, R, T, space, equals, space, O, L, L, E, H, space, L, O, O, B, space, new line.
So yeah, that's what Emacspeak is. It's pretty cool. I've used it quite a bit in the past to work on a couple projects because sometimes it's more efficient for me anyway to actually work with speech instead of working with my eyes because to give you an idea of how big I need text to give you an idea of how big the text has to be, this monitor that I'm recording on is 27 inches, and this is how big I need the text size. So I can work on it sometimes, but when my functions are getting really large, I've got a couple functions in another project. Which file is this in? I've got one in, yeah, right here. Print board, for example, is a fairly long function. So this is a chess application, and as you can see, the size of the function to just print the board to the screen is quite large, and I cannot fit it in my screen. So at that point, it becomes more useful to just work entirely from memory and just audio than to have to keep searching for things. So anyway, that's Emacspeak. It's not perfect. It doesn't do everything, but it's worth a try. I can send you a link to the GitHub page for Emacspeak for Windows, and hopefully you can get something working that'll work. I don't know if it's helpful, but try it out. It's fun.